Det har varit några intensiva dagar för nya huvudtränaren Tero Lehtera. Is that the right pronunciation?
I told the players to call me coach because the Finnish R, you don't have it here in Sweden, and the English people don't have it either, so coach is easier. But it's Tero Lehtera.
And we try this in Swedish, so first question, hur mår du idag?
Well, I feel very Olympic today. Even though I don't belong into the Jamaican bobsled team, but I feel good. Of course, there's been a lot of organizing and a lot of mental work, a lot of thoughts, a lot of things, gathering information about everything, and trying to process that right now, and so that what we should attack first and what comes next and so on.
Vad var det då som lockade dig, som fick dig att komma hit till Västerås från början?
Well, first of all, I love my job, even though it isn't the easiest job in the world, but especially sometimes in Finland, because the coaches are in the spotlight all the time. But I'd say the most important thing was that I was told, I'm not going to say who, but a couple of people who are involved in hockey business, that the team has more in it than it has shown. So there's potential. So I'm not coming into a sinking ship.
Men du har ju faktiskt varit i Västerås och spelat match här, om inte jag ser fel i statistiken. När du var i Malmö 94-95 så mötte du ju faktiskt Västerås här. Har du några som helst minnen av det?
I might be wrong, but I believe that we met in the quarterfinals. And we won. We went to the semifinals and then lost against HV 71 and they won the championship. But I remember, the rink is a little bit similar, but there has been some modifications.
För den matchen jag tittade på, det var en match där ni förlorade med 6-0, och det var en person med nummer 27 på ryggen där som såg att han var inte så jätteintresserad av försvarsspel. Hur var du som spelare på den tiden?
Well, I had the first half of the year was really rough. Our coach was Hannu Jortikka. I like him, but let's say our relationship after things started going south, it wasn't so good. But when I picked up my game, I got away with the national team for a while, and I got my spirit high, started working out a little bit more, and the game I started to get going. So after that, it was okay. So, but yeah, to be honest, in the beginning of my career, I was a goal scorer. I was a playmaker and everything. But later on, when I went back to Finland, I became like a two-way forward, more of a centerman, two-way, because I went to Jokerit, and we had a lot of centers injured that year, and so I had to, replace them, and that's it. But it was, the only bad thing was that it showed in a paycheck. The guys who score the goals, they get a bigger paycheck.
Du pratade lite om Hannu Jortikka. Vilka andra typer av tränare formade dig som spelare? Hade du några andra tränare under karriären som du kände att det här är min typ av tränare?
Yeah, I've been very fortunate. I've been coached in my teams. I've been coached by national team coaches like Hannu Aravirta, Jukka Jalonen, Raimo Summanen, Erkka Westerlund, to name a few. Then in Russia, Vladimir Krikunov, Then Kurre Lundmark was my head coach at the second year in Jokerit. So I've been very fortunate. And when I started coaching, after a while, I've tried to, remember what was good about that. I can't take can't take very much from them hockey-wise, because hockey has changed so dramatically during the last 15 years. But maybe some other stuff that you need as a head coach.
Men det här med engelskan då, att du har så pass bra språkkunskaper i engelska, vart kommer det ifrån? Är det från dina utlandsäventyr, eller när började du lära dig engelska så här pass bra?
Well, there are two reasons. The first and the biggest is I was a very big fan of Bill Cosby show when I was young. So that was pretty much the only sitcom they showed in Finland. And I liked all the characters, and I actually had a crush on one of the daughters in that show. So, but and the other one was that my mother was sort of like, she had an agency, and she was selling like clothing and stuff like that from abroad to Finnish customers. And she had her office at home, so I had to answer the phone every now and then. So those are the main reasons my English is.
Man brukar ju säga att svenskan är lite av ett andra språk i Finland, framförallt längs kusten då. Men hur är det med din svenska?
Well, it was better before. I met Kurre Lundmark here, and he said, well, he asked me if I'm coaching in English or in Swedish, and I said English. And he asked me why, but we talked Swedish when I was in, but I said, yeah, that's a long time ago. That's like 25 years ago. And it was closer to my education, and because Finland is a bilingual country, and Swedish was, I don't know if it is today, but it was compulsory in the school. So I studied Swedish, I don't know, 7 years. And then I spent a year in Sweden almost right after that. So, it's like, it's not perfect. I understand a lot, but I'm not very comfortable because I've forgotten most of the words. I understand, I remember them when other people say them. Oh, that's it. But when I have to figure them out, find them from between my ears, nothing comes out.
Men efter en väldigt framgångsrik spelarkarriär på isen då, vad var det som fick dig att bli tränare? Hur kom du in på det spåret?
Well, I had to play half a year. The last year I was in Denmark. I'm not going for the reason, but I had to do some taxes and stuff like that. So I had to play. The day that I had the day after I had my last game, and they called me, a friend of mine who works for a big hockey magazine. He called me, now you're retiring. He said, now I'm definitely, because can't even walk. So I'm retiring, can't practice, can't do anything. So I'm retiring, yes. And when that paper got out, the first day or the next day, then GM from Blues Espoo, a former Liga team, he called me that they need a like a coach. Start with an assistant coach in the juniors. Am I interested? I said, call me in 6 months. Right now, I don't even like hockey because it hurts so much to skate or do anything, exercise, whatever. It hurts so much. Call me in 6 months. And he told me that that's going to be too late. And another former player called me as well, but he was from a minor team, and he called me, and I told him that same thing. Call me in 6 months. Right now, if you want an answer, I'm going to say no. He called me precisely 6 months after 6 months, and then I negotiated. They practiced 3 times a week. They were, I think they were under 16 team, and they didn't practice that hard. 3 times a week, and I got to be there once. But if I want to be there 3 times, because I live 30 minutes away, I said, fine, let's do that. Ended up being there every single practice, and that's just got excited. And that's one of the reasons. Of course, I get a paycheck. I appreciate it. But even more rewarding is that when you can help other people, hockey-wise or some other, you see when they get it. They get something they haven't figured out before, and you see the spark in their eyes. Oh, yeah, I like this. That's bigger than any paycheck, and that's the same with kids, you know.
Om du ska beskriva dig själv som ledare då, hur är du som tränare? Hur vill du få spelarna att agera och leda laget? Din filosofi helt enkelt.
Well, my philosophy is pretty much this: you're either growing or you're dying. So I'm trying to gather a lot of information all the time to get better and better. Because if I'm not getting better, and my associates are getting better, I'm going down. So that's what I mean. They're either growing or you're dying. But and that development, you need some things like structure, and to become better, you need support, and you need trust. Most of all, you need trust, and how you do those things. Those are the things I've been trying to learn all the time. Like I said, get better to become as good as possible. The coach, I idolize Coach Wooden, who said that, success is a state of mind. It's a state of mind, knowing that you've done the best you can to become as good as possible. So, in a way, also I like that idea, and why I bought it, that it's not about the goal, and you don't think about the prize, but you think about the path. And as a player, I won a lot of stuff, but it's not when they handed me the gold medal or I got the trophy above my head. That's not the things. When we meet those players, when I meet with those players, we don't remember that. We met all the things. We talk about all the things that happened during that trip, that year. What happened? We laugh because of the mistakes we made, the good things that happened, and so it's the journey. And in that way, if you ask me where am I now, hopefully a lot lower than I'll be in 2 weeks or in 5 years.
That's very interesting. Du har ju mestadels varit tränare i Finland, och de här sista 2 uppdragen har ju varit utomlands då. Är det någonting som lockar dig nu att prova dina vingar utanför Finland som ledare?
Well, yeah, I've had some problems with my former team, SaiPa. We're in a court of law. Our whole coaching staff sued them for illegal layoff. So, and it's been into processes, but and they try to get to Supreme Court. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't know if there's a person, but it wasn't because of me. Coaches get fired all the time. It's not that. But Finnish league, there are a lot of juniors nowadays because the resources are not as good as they used to be. So there are a lot of juniors that need a lot of guidance. And in my opinion, because they laid off the general manager, both assistant coaches, the goalie coach, and the head coach, I don't think you can leave a team with young players, a lot of young players, coached by a non-professional. Great guys, former players, but coaching, playing, totally different things. And so it was more like I didn't accept it because they treated the players bad and I think they treated my assistant coaches bad as well. So that was the whole thing. But so I don't know if it affects me. But there are some other things in Finnish hockey. I don't want to go into them because I don't want to say any bad things. It's a great country. It's a great league. There are great people over there. But there are things that I want to see abroad as well. And I know Finnish hockey, and coach is part of the team, but I don't think it's like the centerpiece. And in Finland, that happens a lot. And I'm not talking about firing coaches. I understand somebody's responsible for stuff like that, but there are other things too. Sometimes the coaches can influence too much, and that it doesn't work that way.
Du har ju också jobbat i tv-branschen i C-more, motsvarighet i Finland då, som expert. Är det nyttigt för en ledare att vara på andra sidan, tror du, om man säger så, mitt emot på deras sida?
No, it started maybe like coaches who weren't going to coach anymore. They used them before, and maybe about 5 or 6 years ago, C-more didn't have the rights back then, but they started using some coaches. We had 2 coaches, and Tuokkula, who is now the assistant coach in Tappara, and me as a coach who was sort of like without a job. So, and from then on, C-more started using coaches or ex-players. But if you had a player status, the status had to be a pretty good one, a high-profile player. So they started using them. But I know in a way it's good marketing, but I wasn't targeting Finnish markets. So for me, it wasn't for that reason. I just needed something to do. And that's why but I had in my contract, I had that only to do 2 games because I have an out in the C-more contract. So if I get a contract that I like, I can leave the next day. And so we made an arrangement that I have 2 games, and if there's a Champions Hockey League game, then I'm taking care of the Champions Hockey League games. But so that if I leave, when I leave, they don't have to find a new person, but the others can fill in 1 shift here, 1 shift there. But and also that I needed something to do, not just sit at home. It gets boring.
Du pratade lite grann om när du kom hit att det var inte en optimal situation att komma in mitt i en säsong. Men hur känner du nu när du är här? Vad kan du göra med den här säsongen i ditt läge?
Well, of course it's not. I would like to start building all the systems from the beginning, and the whole team with the general manager and everything. So we need PK players, we need power play players, or lefties, righties. Okay, find out everything we know. Now, right now, I don't know pretty much anything about the players personal-wise. So, but it doesn't go like that. Everything doesn't go, not just in hockey. Things don't go like planned, and you have to be prepared. And you have to learn to like the challenges. You bring something new. And good leaders, they like changes. They can appreciate them. And this is a change. Again, there's new stuff. And I go back 5 minutes. Remember, developing. I learned something new in this process again. So if it happens again, I'm more ready. So I become better. So, like I said, you can think the downsize, it's either half full or half empty. Rather think half full. But what I can do is my best. And now gathering information, talking to the players, and then picking from 2,565 things. I pick the most important, the second important, third, and we go one step at a time.
Du är här idag. Vad gör du om 10 år? Är du lockad av att vara coach, tror du fortfarande? Eller sitter du i en tv-soffa och kommenterar? Eller hur ser du det om 10 år?
Well, pretty much I've been doing just the World Championships when I've been working for Seymour, because I see international hockey. And that has been my reason. I see North American hockey. I see Slovakian hockey. I see Czech hockey. I see German hockey. And as a coach, like I said, I want to see new stuff. So I learn a lot of stuff. The Slovakians, their controlled breakout is totally different. The center goes behind the net and picks up the puck. We did that in the 80s. I'm not saying it's wrong, but it's different. So you don't see a Finnish team do that, or a North American. So it's an interest. So I do that, but normally I don't do the leagues or anything like that. It's a nice job, and the people I work with, they're a great bunch of people, but I miss having adrenaline in my veins. So hopefully I'm coaching, and I remember my wife didn't know a lot about coaching, said, why didn't you go to New York Rangers? I had to explain why not. you just don't go. They need to ask first. Yeah, but I'd love to live in New York. Yeah, wouldn't we all?
Avslutningsvis då, vad har du för hälsning till alla de som bryr sig otroligt mycket om Västerås IK och verkligen vill att laget ska vända igen? Vad har du för hälsning till dem?
Well, not for my sake, but for the players' sake, I hope they understand that what I'm trying to kind of teach them right now is, and they don't pick it up overnight, but try to pick stuff. If they see stuff we do better, and if I do my job well, I think we have enough time. And if we take a few steps, we get more time, right? Then the more time we get, the better we should get.